What's up, zoners, and welcome to the earliest waiver wire show on the planet. Today, I'm going to be going over all the players on your waiver wire I think you should pick up and how much you should spend on them. And it is the playoffs, man, so no deep flyers here. Only players that can help this next week, for God's sakes, man. And this is a great week for it, man. Do you need tight ends? Do you need running backs? Huge stars injured this week. Last week, tight ends filling in and doing great. We have a tight end, had 12 targets, man. Caught 11 of them, almost went for like 100 yards. Holy shit, man. Spend all your money on that guy if you need a tight end. Okay? We have a running back. The top 5 running back just got injured, and his backup is stepping up as well, man. Blow your wad on that guy too. Okay? So anyways, I've got all my notes typed out. This is an early waiver wire show. You can see this, man. I'm shooting this at the afternoon game, so I will be adding more. Okay? We need more quarterbacks. I went and found one quarterbacks. They were doing terrible today. So come back and check out that. All right? I've got all my notes typed out, but you got to hold on for 7 seconds. All right, let's start off with the running backs. First up, Alvin Kamara left this game injured after he caught that touchdown. I think he got everybody 17 points, and then he left. So at least Alvin Kamara owners are happy. But guess what, dude? Kendra Miller, only 8% owned. Holy shit. He's available everywhere. 55% of my fab I'd blow on him. Just in case, man, this offense runs through the tight ends and running backs, for God's sakes. So this is a huge position to fill. Should get you lots of points, lots of opportunities at least. Alvin Kamara suffered that groin injury, 10 rushes and a touchdown. He had a 33% running back rushing share last week anyways. Ever since Taysom Hill has been out, they have needed more runners because they like to run the damn ball. And now Kendra Miller is going to get even more workload at Green Bay week 16th. They are giving up the 16th most fantasy points per game, so they are middle of the road against running backs. Hey, dude, Kendra Miller, running back 2 next week, fantasy playoffs. Holy shit. And hey, Sincere McCormick, I told you to start him. All right? I don't know how he's 32% owned. He should be over 50%. Don't people need running backs, for God's sakes? Oh my God, man. So I'd blow half my wad. I'd blow everything I had if I needed a running back as well. Again, I'd get Kendra Miller first, and then Sincere McCormick. Undrafted free agent, came out of nowhere 2 years ago, by the way. Zamir out. Madison is back in. We need to see how he is used today. First Jacksonville, week 16, second most fantasy points per game. He has an amazing matchup next week. Jerome Ford. Dude, Nick Chubb just broke his foot. I just read that, okay? So I had to run, checking Jerome Ford. 7 rushes, 84 yards, and a touchdown. 2 receptions, 20 yards versus Kansas City. Kansas City's number 1 against running backs, and this guy did well. Okay, so Chubb broke his foot. He gets at Cincinnati's. As many passing yards as Cincinnati's given up, they are just middle of the pack, even a little bit better against running backs. But Jerome Ford catches the damn ball, okay? So he will be used a ton next week. Jerome Ford, low-end running back 1, running back 2 next week. Oh, my God, dude. This is crazy. All this shit's happening at once. First week of fantasy football playoffs. Oh, my God, dude. Justice Hill, okay? This guy, 21.7% rostered. He is a handcuff. This is the beginning of the handcuffs. But, dude, he was startable this week. He's been startable like 3 of the last 4 games, okay? 2 rushes for 7 yards. We don't care about that. He is all about catching that ball. Derrick Henry ain't getting shit as far as catches. 5 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown versus the Giants week 15. 21% target share in that offense, all right? 5+ targets in 3 of the last 4 games. Running back, 33 finish or higher in 5 of the last 8 games. So more than, 60% of the time, he is a flex or better versus Pittsburgh week 16th, 10th fewest fantasy points per game to running backs. But when I see this, I think that he's going to get a lot of receptions next week, okay? So Justice Hill. And then we get into the handcuffs. I like Isaiah Davis now over Braylon Allen. Go check that box score. Cam Akers. You see how all these running backs are getting injured, dude. Be sure to back up your studs. So Cam Akers, if you're an Aaron Jones owner. Ray Davis. Man, that fool's playing right now. Ty Johnson's actually catching a lot of balls. I'd still like Ray Davis. Blake Corum, you saw what happened with him. He's getting some more touches, but he is not as good as Kyron Williams. And Trey Benson, Kamani Vidal, they're all top-tier handcuffs. Khalil Herbert is actually the handcuff behind Chase Brown, and that seems to be a super valuable position, dude. So on to the wide receivers. Rashad Bateman, man, 19.1% owned, 50% fab I'd spend on him. 3 receptions on 5 targets for 80 yards. So he led the team in yards. This was supposed to be Zay Flowers, man. Zay Flowers actually got 1 more target, 2 more targets. I think he's got 7 targets. This guy had the 2 touchdowns and the yardage, dude, versus the Giants. 21% target share. That's one of his highest target shares of the season. Ranked second on the team in deep targets behind Zay Flowers. Okay, so he gets those valuable targets And he has 7 now after this 2 touchdown game. This fool has 7 touchdowns on this season. That's got to be like top 10. But he does have Pittsburgh next week. Pittsburgh limits those big plays. It's probably going to be more Zay Flowers, more Andrews. 6th fewest fantasy points per game, 24.3 to wide receivers, 2 receptions for 30 yards, week 11. So, yeah, he just went against Pittsburgh and did not do well. But Rashad Bateman, man, getting 2 touchdowns and leading that team or second that team on deep targets, that is valuable, man. He's worth picking up. And then, hey, all right, cokeheads, you've been waiting for him to return, okay? 1.4% rostered, 50% fab, 4 receptions on 6 targets for 110 yards, man. He led the team. Thielen still got the most targets, as he should. But Jalen Coker looks like he's going to be working the outside now with Adam Thielen inside, and it's good to see that he can still produce. That was mostly on an 80-yard touchdown, okay? That was versus Dallas. First game back due to injury. Led the team with 8 targets in the game he was injured before, but that was without Thielen. So Thielen will be leading this team in targets. Undrafted rookie versus Arizona. He's the rookie you want, not Leggett, okay? Versus Arizona week 16. Arizona is middle of the pack against wide receivers. So, hey, man, Jalen Coker has a chance to be a flex for you next week. MVS has been on this for 2 years, man. No, for like 2 months. 2 receptions on 7 targets. He led the team in targets again, okay? Led the team in targets last week. Led the team in reception yards this week. We had Spencer Rattler coming back in. I actually like Spencer Rattler way better than what they were throwing out there before, dude. That guy couldn't throw the fucking ball. Olave and Carr out. Apparently, Carr almost played this week. So, hey, man, Olave's still sitting out there. If you need a flex, dude, he is leading this team in targets, for God's sakes. That's hard to find on the fucking waiver wire, man. At Green Bay, week 16. Green Bay has been good against wide receivers, 24.7. But again, man, he should lead this team in targets next week. Big play, big playability. Tight ends, man, it's getting good. Super pumped up on tight ends this week. Britton Strange, 2% rostered. 2%. That's it. Go pick him up if you need a tight end. If you don't need a tight end. If you don't, somebody might play him against you, okay? 45% fab. I have not put that much money on a tight end all season long. 11 receptions on 12 targets for 73 yards, man, versus the Jets. Almost a 28% target share for a tight end. At the end of the year, man, Evan Ingram, done for this season with a shoulder injury. This guy was a tight end 9 during the week 2 through 5 for 4 weeks for a month. Tight end 9 in the beginning of the year without Evan Ingram. So stepping up, and he's going to be a top 5 tight end this week. Full PPR, this guy's going to be nuts. At Las Vegas week 16, dude, that's an amazing matchup. 4th most fantasy points per game to tight ends. Britton Strange, man, is going to get people through next week. Holy shit. Grant Calcaterra, 2% rostered as well. Go pick him up, man. 98% available. I think I'm going to bump that up to like 15% fab. Jalen's first throw went to Calcaterra like 22 yards, man. Wide open. You thought they were going to feed A.J. Brown. Guess what? They thought about feeding Calcaterra. Goddard is on IR, so he's done for the season, man. Touchdown last week. You saw that first throw this week. At Washington week 16, they should need to score points versus Washington. 14th fewest fantasy points per game, 9.2 to the tight ends. That's very middle of the road. So Calcaterra, man, fire him up next week. Tight ends, dude. Oh my God. And then another one. Stone Smart. All right. This guy has not played yet, but Disley is out. I was informed about this guy in the waiver wire or in the live show this morning, and I went back and checked it out. Holy shit, they were right. Disley is out. I knew he was out, but I did not check his backup, dude. 3 targets for 54 yards during that second half, man. So he probably will fill in for Will Disley, okay? Versus Denver, week 16, and usually those cornerbacks force the issue to people to throw to tight ends. They are middle of the road against tight ends. But hey, man, Stone Smart, go pick him up. 2% rostered. I cannot believe 2% people own him more than fucking Calcaterra or Brent Strange. Aaron Rodgers, okay? There's no quarterbacks suck this week, man. Tua Tagovailoa, all this shit. No quarterbacks were, and then I checked and I was like, oh my God. Aaron Rodgers scored like 32 points in my league. I know we get a bonus for certain shit, but I've got to put Aaron Rodgers in this now, man. 30 attempts for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns. He ran the ball 5 times, man, for 45 yards versus Jacksonville. That is crazy. 43.8% rostered. I'd spend 10%, man. It's not like I'm trying to really get this guy. Jacksonville gives up the 2nd most points per game to quarterbacks. So that was a great matchup anyways, dude. But he has a great matchup next week versus the fucking Rams, man. So 8th most fantasy points the Rams give up. So he has another good matchup. You should be able to start him. First game with more than 2 rushing attempts since week 4 versus Denver. And Denver, that was 10-9. That was with him really wanting to beat Sean Payton. So I don't know what's happening now, dude. Quarterback finish 11 last week and scored 32 in my league this week. So I don't know, 39 passing attempts in each of the last 2 games heading into this week. Only 30 attempts this week. I did not like that. But Aaron Rodgers, man, you can do a lot worse. Seems like quarterbacks are kind of falling off a fucking cliff right now. All right, everybody, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you actually did like the show, please give me a thumbs up. It gives me the chance to go out to more computer screens, man, more eyeballs, and that gives me a higher chance to get more thumbs up and more subscriptions, man. It's a chain reaction. Be part of this chain, man. Please. I beg of you. I beg of you. Hopefully I earned that thumbs up. Hopefully I earned a subscription. We need it. We need it. Okay. And remember, add players that I did not think of down below. Try to add players that will actually help next week because this is the fucking playoffs, dude. We need this to work. All right. We need it. So this is Tyler Big Turd War. This is Fantasy Red Zone. We got shit coming out soon, and we appreciate